Okay, let's unpack this. So today we are doing a deep dive into, well, maybe the single most analyzed song in rock history, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven.
It really is.
But we're coming at it from an angle that a lot of musicologists tend to ignore, but it gives you this just startlingly precise blueprint for its themes, its structure, everything.
We're talking about cosmic timing.
Exactly. Perfect cosmic timing.
Specifically, we're linking the song's creation, which was, late 1970, early 1971, to this very rare, very powerful celestial event.
Right.
The Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in the sign of Sagittarius. And this wasn't just happening in the background. It seems to have provided the exact emotional, philosophical, and thematic language that Page and Plant were channeling.
It's kind of wild. When you look at the song, I mean, the massive themes of spiritual longing, the mythic quest imagery, the ambition of it, you line it up with what these planets represent.
Yeah.
The connection is, well, it's uncanny.
It is.
So our mission today is to really excavate how this specific astrological weather provided a foundation for a song all about spiritual yearning and a genuine mythic imagination.
And ultimate transcendence. It's truly one of the most unmistakable manifestations of that Jupiter-Neptune in Sagittarius energy in the entire decade. It's so clean.
So to really get this, we have to start with the planets themselves.
Oh.
What are we dealing with here?
Okay, so think of it like a recipe. Jupiter, in astrology, is all about expansion. Philosophy, wisdom, long journeys, truth-seeking. It makes things bigger.
The big picture planet.
Exactly. And then you have Neptune. Neptune rules mysticism, dreams, the dissolving of boundaries, the otherworldly, the stuff beyond the veil.
So if Jupiter expands and Neptune dissolves and mystifies, what happens when they get together?
You get a powerhouse of transcendent vision. I mean, this conjunction is historically famous for producing these moments of intense collective searching where the spiritual veil feels really thin. It provides all the archetypal ingredients for art that's meant to feel eternal. It generates spiritual longing, it fosters poetic intuition, and it encourages, real escapism and transcendence.
That feeling of going beyond the ordinary world.
That's it.
That list you just gave, transcendent vision, mythic imagination, spiritual longing, it honestly just reads like a checklist for Stairway.
It does, 100%.
But I have to ask the skeptical question here. Isn't that a bit of an interpretive leap?
Yeah.
I mean, good songwriters hit on universal themes all the time. Couldn't this just be brilliant songwriting, regardless of the cosmic timing?
That's a crucial question. And I think the music itself answers it. It's not just the lyrics. The whole sound and the structure of the song embodied this specific energy.
Okay.
Think about the boundless quality of Neptune, right? That dreaminess. And then couple it with the searching wisdom of Jupiter. That's why the song starts so introspectively with that ancient folk style. But it expands into something completely overwhelming.
It's a journey from the personal whisper to a universal roar. And here's where it gets really interesting for me, because right from the very first line, the song sets up the exact tension that Jupiter-Neptune creates.
The lady who's sure all that glitters is gold.
Exactly. That's the Neptunian illusion of materialism, right? The distraction.
You have the expansion of desire, that's Jupiter, but it's directed toward the wrong thing, material wealth, Neptune's illusion. But the journey of the song, the stairway, is the seeker realizing the gold they need isn't transactional, it's spiritual.
It's the dissolving of the ego's attachment to the mundane.
You got it.
And you can hear that shift musically. That initial chord progression, the CG, MFG, it's simple, it's folk-based, almost medieval, it's grounded. But then you get the instrumentation. The mandolins, the recorders that weave through those early parts. They give it that ancient mystical symbolism right away. It feels like you're setting a mythological stage.
Absolutely. And that profound yearning for meaning, which is the hallmark of Jupiter's philosophical seeking, it just keeps building and building. The entire song is a spiritual mountain climb.
Moving from the dense, earthly, acoustic intro to that final, fiery release.
And that transition, that growth, is the core Jupiterian drive toward a higher truth.
Okay, so we've established the planet's influence, Jupiter and Neptune. But to really understand the staircase part, we have to look at the backdrop, the sign.
Sagittarius, that's the key contextual shift.
So what does Sagittarius bring to the table?
Sagittarius is the ultimate seeker. It's the mutable fire sign obsessed with long journeys, higher education, cosmic law. It's literally symbolized by the archer aiming an arrow upward.
So if the planets provide the desire for transcendence, Sagittarius provides the direction, the architecture for the quest.
Exactly. It rules ascent, pilgrimage. Sagittarius is the spiritual staircase, the traveler between worlds, and it gets even more striking when you look at the physical context of the rating.
Headley Grange.
Right. Page and Plant were holed up in this cold, isolated stone manor in the dead of winter. That environment, the cold stone, the isolation, it mirrors the internal focus you need for that kind of Sagittarian truth-seeking.
They were forced to look inward for these grand themes.
The atmosphere fed the archetype. They weren't writing a pop jingle. They were, like, documenting a metaphysical quest from inside an ancient space. They wrote about truths in nature, a journey upward, the meaning of life.
And even that mystical guide, the Piper.
The Poper. It fits perfectly into the Sagittarian archetype of the sage, or the guru, guiding you through unknown territory. The environment, the themes, the timing, it's all aligned, line for line.
Which brings us to, I think, the analytical peak here. Stairway isn't just a song. It's an initiation ritual disguised as a rock track.
Yes. The structure forces you, the listener, through the experience of the quest. It embodies that Sagittarian pattern of journey, then revelation, then apotheosis. It's an unavoidable progression.
Let's break down that climb, because Page really does use the music to create a literal stairway. It's basically a four-part movement. It starts with that delicate acoustic whisper, right? A minor key. It's moody, reflective. Then as the story starts, the drums and bass slowly filter in. Bottom's heartbeat rhythm.
The quest is gaining momentum, the music is gaining mass, but it's still, restrained. It hasn't fully let go yet.
Not yet. But then, right as the lyrics say there are two paths you can go by, the song modulates. And then we get the moment, the signal.
The double neck.
The double neck guitar. Page is playing the acoustic 6-string and the electric 12-string at the same time. That is the sound of the traveler between worlds.
Mundane and spiritual merging.
Exactly. The acoustic and the electric. And that's the turning point where the quest becomes urgent. And structurally, that shift into the massive, high-volume rock climax.
Yeah.
That's pure Jupiterian expansion.
It's bursting at the seams.
And then the legendary solo, we hit the fiery revelation. This is the moment of apotheosis.
Yes.
For anyone listening, apotheosis is like the ultimate elevation to divine status, the peak of spiritual realization. And that solo isn't just amazing guitar playing. It's the sound of undeniable truth.
It's so sudden and powerful, it lifts you completely out of the structure that came before it. It's the highest point of the arrow's arc.
And then just as suddenly, it recedes. That final vocal section drops back down, and it leaves you suspended in the aftermath. The ritual is complete.
The whole song acts out the quest, note by note.
It's compelling. But this makes me wonder about the bigger picture. Was 1971 just a uniquely receptive time for this kind of, grand philosophical statement?
Oh, absolutely. If we connect this to what else was going on, 1971 itself was deeply saturated in this Jupiter-Neptune vibe. It created this fertile ground for these huge themes to resonate globally.
So Stairway was like the blockbuster single version of a cultural phenomenon.
It rode the crest of that wave.
Yeah.
The collective mood in 71 was one of searching, of yearning, of dissolving boundaries, both spiritual and social. It was the peak time for complex, myth-driven prog rock,
Right.
but also for deeply spiritual, introspective folk. The energy was dual. You had the Jupiterian search for global truth and the Neptunian desire for personal emotional truth.
And you can see that so clearly in the other massive albums that came out that year.
Precisely. On one hand, you have these expansive mythic journeys like Yes, Fragile or Genesis's Nursery Crime.
Pure progressive alchemy.
Totally. Seeking truth through fantasy and structure, leaning hard into Neptune's love of myth. But then look at the Jupiterian side, the humanitarian scope. Marvin Gaye's What's Going On?
The ultimate spiritual humanitarian album.
Yeah.
Expanding the idea of compassion on a societal scale.
Exactly. And for the Neptunian interiority.
Has to be Joni Mitchell's Blue.
Blue, it's raw emotional truth. It dissolves the boundary between the artist and the audience. So sensitive, so focused on internal reality. That's the heart of Neptune.
Even something like Carole King's Tapestry, which was so commercially huge and grounded, it still has that Jupiter-Neptune emotional openness and wisdom.
It really does. So the yearning was just everywhere, across every genre. The fact that Stairway, from a band known for hard blues, captured this exact transcendent quest, it just says so much about how powerful that atmosphere was.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this? It means the enduring archetypal quality of Stairway wasn't just, a lightning strike of genius.
It was a perfect harmonic convergence. The timing provided the exact emotional and structural language they needed to translate this profound spiritual idea into one of rock's most pivotal songs.
And for us as learners, recognizing these unexpected patterns, whether it's between cosmology and culture or musical structure and ancient philosophy, that's really the quickest way to gain knowledge thoroughly, to see the whole picture.
Which leaves us with a question for you to mull over. Given this pervasive transcendent energy of the Jupiter-Neptune alignment that peaked right then, which other eternal-sounding tracks from that same window?
Like what?
Well, maybe something like America's A Horse with No Name, or even some deep cuts from T-Rex. Could they also be subtly channeling that same Sagittarian quest for apotheosis?
What happens when we look beyond just the musician's intent and analyze art through the lens of the prevailing cosmic weather? The map to the stars might just be hidden in the album charts.